Joining us. I'm Sheriff Michelle Cook here today at the Clay County Fairgrounds, and with me today are Clay County Board of County Commissioners Chairman Mike Sella and Clay County Emergency Management Director John Ward. We're here to tell you about an ongoing investigation so far that has resulted in dozens of animals being rescued from deplorable conditions. The Clay County Sheriff's Office, Clay County Animal Services, Clay County Fire Rescue, and other agencies are at 246 Old Jennings Road, transporting the animals to a facility here at the fairgrounds as we speak. Our detectives served a search warrant this morning at the home. The warrant is a result of an investigation that started when our deputies responded to a medical emergency call involving an adult who lived on the property. It was during this medical emergency call that deputies were able to legally enter the property, at which time they observed conditions that rose to the level that required additional investigation. For the past several weeks, the CCSO, in coordination with Clay County Animal Services, has been actively working on this investigation in an effort to determine what criminal charges potentially exist and the best possible response needed to ensure the safety of the home occupants, the first responders, and the animals on site. Now, detectives are on scene working the investigation, and crews have started removing the animals for treatment and care. This is still very early in this investigation, so potential arrests and charges will be determined later on. We're glad these animals are finally getting the care they need, and we appreciate the partnership that we have with Clay County. I'd like to now invite John Ward up to provide some additional information. John?
Good morning, everybody, and as always, thank you, Sheriff Cook, for the partnerships. I want to remind everybody this is still an early investigation, so exact numbers or specific details of the animals are still unknown, but it will be discussed over the next couple days. This operation will have many phases to it. Obviously, the first and priority is the safety and security of our staff, first responders, and the animal. The first phase, which is currently just beginning, is the collection of the animals, and again, it is unknown the type or the quantity at this time. The second phase is what's going to be ongoing behind us, and it's called the intake, assessment, treatment, grooming, and then assigning them to their new crate or stall as this progresses over the next couple weeks. The intake process has multiple partners assisting us with this. This is to include forensic veterinarians, vet techs, handlers, and groomers of these animals. And we've got a multitude of partners from all over Northeast and Central Florida assisting us in this. And then as they're being loaded at the Jennings site, they will be brought here offloaded. They will be immediately assessed by our veterinarians. Then they will be cleaned, and then they will be processed and begin to be cared for over the next couple weeks. The third phase is going to be the quarantine period. Regardless of the investigative side of this, they're going to have to be kept in quarantined and monitored for the next 14 days to ensure they don't have any diseases that will be spread. And then the fourth phase is going to be determined depending on the pending investigation that Sheriff's Cook team is going to do. But once they are released to Clay County, they will be able to be spayed and neutered. And then the fifth phase is we will work with our county partners and rescue teams to get these animals their new home where they belong. We understand that many people and organizations will want to help and donate. So beginning tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will be having a donation center established here at the fairgrounds. But what we would ask you to do is that everybody call 877-252-9362. Again, that is 877-252-9362. That is a call center that we currently have open. It is open from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and this is where you can call in both to give monetary donations via credit card, and it is tax deductible. And then for some of the things that we immediately need is dry dog food, wet canned dog food, milk replacement, pee pads or puppy pads, leashes and collars of various sizes, spray bottles, cleaning wipes, dog toys, no rope toys, treats, and dog shampoo. Those are the minimums. We want to make sure that we're going to not get a lot of extra stuff that isn't needed out here. So again, we ask that you please call the 877-252-9362. And also, as we get into that fifth phase where we're caring for these animals over the next couple weeks, we are going to need assistance both in carrying and feeding of these, because essentially we're duplicating our animal care and control facility out here. So if you would like to volunteer, please call that 877-252-9362 at that point. So more details on the animals, the condition, and numbers will come over the next couple days. We will have multiple briefings on this because, like I said, the investigation's been ongoing, but the warrant was just served this morning and our teams are just getting ramped up there. So details are very limited at this time. We are prepared for a large number of animals if it comes to that, but at this time the details are very limited. So now I'm going to take this time to turn it over to Chairman Mike Sella. Thank you.
Thank you to the media for turning out today so we can tell this story, and I appreciate the couple of minutes here to speak with you. The Board of County Commissioners appreciates the strong partnership that we do share with the Clay County Sheriff's Office. We've been working closely with CCSO to identify issues of animal neglect in our community, and we will continue to do so. And let me stress this next statement: we will not tolerate animal neglect in Clay County. Today, in a total team effort, law enforcement, public safety, animal care, and protective services personnel, along with many other partner agencies from Northeast Florida, are taking extraordinary measures to safely transport a number of animals from the property to the fairgrounds here for assessment, medical treatment, care, and feeding. The incident management team has developed a very strong plan for today's action, covering every aspect of the operation, and with the safety of responders, animals, and of course the public as the top priority. Having a few moments just a little while ago to go through to see what they've set up, it's incredible, and each and every one of our individuals in there deserves a lot of credit for what they've been doing on behalf of these animals. The primary goal, of course, of the Board of County Commissioners is to provide for the health and safety of our residents here in Clay County. We will continue to strive every day to provide for a high quality of life for our residents, including their animals that enrich our lives in so many different ways. Our team is committed to the well-being of these animals. We'll provide clean housing, food, water, medical care here at the fairgrounds until the animals are healthy and ready for adoption. And so on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, once again, let me thank Sheriff Cook, Emergency Management Director John Ward, the teams of veterans and vet techs, the law enforcement officers who were out there this morning and still are out there on the property on Old Jennings, and to everybody else involved in this critical mission. I'll hand it back to Sheriff Cook now.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to go ahead and open it up now for any questions. Yes, ma'am.
How many animals is a potentially large amount of animals?
We don't have an exact number, but I'm hearing at least 100.
And
Yes.
how large was the property they were being kept on?
About 10 acres, I believe, is the size of the property. So it's a pretty expansive property and a lot of animals on the property.
And I know you're not saying the exact type of animals, but obviously it sounds like dogs, any other, like horses, cats.
So what we're hearing from those first responders that are at Old Jennings now is we have dogs, rabbits, chickens, lots of puppies, lots of dogs that are pregnant. So pretty, and at least 100 of them is what we're hearing.
How many adults were on the property? You mentioned that you found the case when you were responding to a medical emergency. How many adults lived on the property?
At that time, there was 2 adults that lived there, and one had the medical emergency, which is why the deputies and public safety responded originally, is to the medical emergency call.
And have they faced any charges yet, or what would the charges be?
No, ma'am. So because of the setup of the property, we were not able to really get a full comprehension of what else existed beyond the interior of the house where we had the medical call. So what's happening now is the deputies are out there taking a look at the entire property to see if there's any potential animal abuse, animal neglect. I will tell you that it was a concern enough when they responded to the medical call that they activated the animal control services, and we started having meetings to say, okay, this is an issue. We have to do something, and which is what led us to the warrant this morning.
What kind of conditions, like feces, urine, were there any animals that were dead, any neglected animals or starving animals?
I'm not sure if there was any neglected or deceased animals on property at this time. There's still looking at all the animals and removing them. I will say that there was enough concern about the animals' well-being, which is what led us to removing the animals from the home today and then bringing them out here so that they could have proper care from the vets and the vet techs that have responded to help us.
Was that a neighbor who made the call?
The original 911 call about the medical distress, I don't know the answer to that. We can get that for you. I believe, I don't know. We can get that answer for you.
What time did the investigation begin?
So we began briefing this morning around 7:30 a.m. to make sure that all of our partners were on scene. Everybody had proper personal protection equipment and gear, and then go over the plan once again to not only serve the search warrant, but then the investigative portion of is there any criminal activity here, and then the care and control and removal of the animals.
And it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing, and you know, we expect animals to start showing up out here in the next hour and a half. And if we're talking about 100 animals, this could be an all-day event for us just to extract them from the property and bring them out here.
And you said it started with that original call. When was that happening? When, or how many weeks has this been going on?
Oh, that was a few weeks ago. I can get the exact date for you on that. Yes, ma'am.
What message would you have about animal cruelty or animal neglect?
You know, I've got a soft spot for animals. I really do. And, you know, we're not going to tolerate animal cruelty, animal neglect, animal abuse. We're not. You know, I would strongly encourage anybody who knows of a place where there's animal abuse or neglect going on, let us know. Understand that these investigations are often very complex and they take time, but we're committed to following through and addressing it appropriately. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up, and I just want to say thank you again for joining us today here for this. Like I said, the animals will be coming on scene probably in the next hour and a half. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think there's a conversation about letting the media, once the animals are vetted and it's safe to do so, to let the media do a tour of the setup here. And I cannot say enough about the hard work that Clay County Emergency Management, the veterinarians, the Clay County veterinarian, the vet techs, everybody who's come together today. It's very impressive setup that they have inside to make sure everybody and all the animals are kept safe. So thank you.
We're going to get you guys a joint news release just as soon as we wrap things up here, so you'll have all this information in a print form. So we appreciate Joe coming out.
Some video you said eventually?
Potentially, we're going to try to work on that, yes.
Okay.
That would potentially come by Thursday, by the time they get all the animals vetted, cleaned, and settled in their new home. Once it's secure in there, we'll be able to set up a tour for our media partners to go through there and take a look at it.
Because I mean, and we didn't mention this. Are we off, Drew? Are we still rolling? Okay. So we didn't mention this, and we may talk about this Wednesday. At some point, there's going to have to be an end game for the animals, and if you know, it could be anywhere from 14 days to a couple of months. But getting many of these animals adopted out, and then you know, all of this is costing money to the county, so any volunteers that we can get to donate items would be huge. And we may hit on that when we do the tours, talk about what is the long-term game for these animals potentially being adopted out, and what help do we need supporting them while they're here. Okay? Thank you all very much. Hey, Rhonda, can I use my phone real quick? Thanks.